Well, welcome to the video for Chapter 9 from Mounce's grammar. We are going to be dealing with adjectives here, and I want to remind you of the weekly quiz that's due on Saturday. If you check the PowerPoint, there are some specific instructions for the quiz there, and also some instructions about how to go about doing the study in Chapter 9 and the exercises for Chapter 9 as well. So please pay attention to that. As we talk about adjectives in Chapter 9, there is a good exegetical insight here, so I call it to your attention and encourage you to read it. I also want you to note both the similarities and the differences in adjectives for in English and in Greek, as Mounce covers them. There are three things that are important about adjectives here. One is, of course, the vocabulary. That's always the case. And then the forms of the adjectives, and then the function of the adjectives. There are three things, so you need to know all three of those things. You'll get those as you work through this. So first of all, let's talk about actually the vocabulary. You need to just simply learn the vocabulary as you see it, but the forms is another matter, and there's some bad news and some good news about this. The bad news is, of course, you have three different forms for the adjectives, first and second declension. But the good news is you've already learned these forms, the endings for the adjectives. So once you learn the stem for the adjective, then you'll simply apply the same endings that you've used in first and second declension nouns, masculine, feminine, and neuter, because the adjectives appear in all three of those forms in various places. So that's what you have to make sure that you learn. Now, so far as function, note, if you will, what Mounce has to say about the function of the adjectives, and he summarizes that in section 9.8. There are really three functions that you want to make sure you learn in sections 9.8, 9.9, and 9.10. The attributive adjective is one that attributes a quality to the adjective. The substantival form or function of the adjective is going to take the place of a noun, and then the predicate function of an adjective is going to be when the adjective functions as a predicate adjective. So it asserts or predicates something about a subject. The verb aimer is implied or is used. Can be either one of those, but actually mostly it's explicit, but not explicitly stated. So you may have to supply it. You see the example that he uses there in section 9.10, which you just want to pay attention to that and read that very effectively. Note the halftime review as a review, because it is going to be an important thing. Then he talks about how to recognize the adjectives, and of course sometimes the adjective appears without an article, sometimes it appears with an article. If it has an article, of course, the article becomes your key, like it does with nouns. So you want to read that very clearly in 9.11 and 9.12. All right, and then as you move over to odds and ends, he's going to give you some information that you need. Just note that, read that, and note that. And I don't think there's anything there that you need to memorize and remember specifically, except in 9.16, and that is neuter plural verbs. Oftentimes, neuter plural. Let me start over on this. Pardon me, I was trying to do two things at once, and I can't do that very well. But we're talking about neuter plural subjects A neuter plural subject often takes a singular verb. It's just a characteristic of Greek. You'll notice that in many places. Sometimes you'll wonder why in the world is this verb a singular instead of a plural. Just remember that neuter plural subjects often take a singular verb. Just keep that in your mind. Put it in your notebook and keep it with you. All right, and then you have the summary, as you always do, and then the vocabulary that follows. Let me pronounce that for you, and if you will, I'm going to just go through the words, pronouncing them, and then give you a second to pronounce it back, if you will. Agathos, agapetas, aonias, alelon, apekrite, doulos, ean, emas, eme, eman, intele, kathos, kakas, mu or emu, it appears in both forms, nekros, pistos, paneros, protos, tritos. Now you have some words that have already appeared. You can notice those and also look at the advanced information as you have time, and then the exegesis that he talks about in the latter part of that advanced section. So that's what it will take in 9. You also do have some exercises that are due by Saturday night. Begins on page 23 and of the workbook. So remember to do the parsing as normal. Do the warm-up exercise, and then you have some sentences to do. I just want to double check and make sure that I'm giving you the right sentences. They're due by Saturday night at midnight. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 9. Save the parsing and translation in a Word document and post it in the assignment section. Now remember that your quiz is also due on Saturday night, and the instructions for that are spelled out in the PowerPoint that you have. You go to assignments and find that. You'll also find a review of the quiz in assignments. So go and check that out. All right. We'll thank you very much.